Sammy, go ahead. And then Zach.
Coach, obviously, both quarterbacks look like they played well. What do you take away from this game regarding that situation?
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think they both played well, and they both started the game, both played meaningful minutes, both games. And like we said, we're going to go back, evaluate both games, and make a decision. So we'll have a starter for 2-3.
Zach, and then Todd.
I guess just what will that process be for you? I imagine it's a lot of film. Is it talking through maybe with position coaches, position groups? I know you talked about talking to leadership groups within the team, just maybe getting outside, not outside, but opinions beyond the quarterback.
You know, it will extend to myself and Walton, the staff. You know, we don't pull the players. You kind of got a feel for that, you know, in regards to just how that kind of flows. I think you, after having 2 games, you kind of know how how it feels. And honestly, you know, I think you know, our guys believe in both of them. To be honest with you. So, but at the same time, you got to have a guy. You know, I really do believe that. I think it's important. So we will make that decision, but it'll be the coaching staff, and I care what our guys think. Both sides of the ball. You know, we'll watch game film. We'll watch decision making. Sometimes you see things and a play turns out a certain way, and maybe it's not even executed properly. You know, so or it looks like someone makes a mistake and it was really somebody else's fault. So just make sure we have accurate information. It's obviously a very important decision, but just proud of both. I thought they both commanded the offense. They threw the ball well. They ran the ball well. They made really good decisions and got the ball sprayed around and allowed us to be able to put pressure on them, from sideline to sideline and vertically as well. So just we're just going to do what we said we're going to do, is play 2 games and make a decision.
All right, Todd right in front, and Seth.
Tom, because the 2 quarterbacks were so similar in their production today, and I don't know what you have in your head in terms of what you wanted to see and what you're going to do going forward, but was there anything that they did that made you deviate from what you might be thinking you'd be having out of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily. I think I do think it's important to have a guy that you name a starter. I think they both can play. There's no doubt. I think they both prove they can play. And you can see talent. You can see the skill. They're both young, but they're talented young players. And I think we've been consistent saying that. We kind of saw what we saw during fall camp. Back and forth, different guys doing different things. They can both throw it, they can both run it. And so, but you need more than one quarterback. We know that, we've seen that, there's no question about it. So whoever's not the starter is going to be ready to go based on what happens in the game and situations that occur. And so, but it's good to have more than one that I believe can play. And I think we have that, And then once you get Dexter back, I think you got 3 that we know have proven themselves to be able to play and can move our offense, So having eventually 3 is a big deal, because it's a long season. We're going to need everybody in that roster, everybody in that locker room to help us win.
Seth right in front, and red.
Coach, we saw Can Camper and EJ Williams leave the game tonight. Just what's the status on them? Where are they at? And also Omar Cooper went for over 100 yards tonight. How has he kind of emerged, and what have you seen from him? Yeah,
so talking about Omar, really pleased. Not surprised. I've always felt like he was special. Watched him play in high school many times, and that's what he did. He just has strong hands. He runs strong. He's tough. He's got a great base to him, and he can block. He's unselfish, and he runs good routes, So he made some contested, tight window catches and strong-handed catches, and then went and got some yards. So love his emergence. We need that. We need everybody to help us win. And as far as anybody else that was injured in the game, we use the availability report, now as part of our procedure. That's how we're going to use it, so we won't comment on injuries.
Rabbi on your left, and Mike.
Coach, your thoughts on Jalen Lucas, especially like some of the explosion we saw tonight?
Yeah, that's what you want, and just trying to be able to, on a weekly basis, getting the ball in space, because we were full aware that people were going to try to avoid punting in the ball, kicking in the ball on kickoffs. You see how that kind of affects that as well. So trying to find ways to get into football, and obviously he was very dynamic tonight, and that's who he is, and trying to get handing the ball, tossing the ball, and throwing the ball. So and then catch the punt, catch the kickoff. So once again, just another guy in our arsenal. Said this from the beginning. I feel like our offense has explosive, talented players. We just got to be able to get all the pieces together and just continue to work and develop and get the timing down. And I think we made a positive step in that direction tonight.
Mike on your right, and Jim.
Yeah, Tom. During that 12 at the end of the second half, they had that 12-play drive. You called a timeout. Didn't look happy with some of the tackling that was going on. Happy with how they responded. Obviously, got the red zone stopping. What was the goals defensively overall? This Indiana State team came in with the backup quarterback, you know, they're struggling. Do you feel like you've met kind of the moment in terms of, you know, how you wanted to kind of contain them?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they didn't even have 100 yards of offense, so that's hard to do. I don't care who it is. And so I'm still ticked about the fact they didn't get shut out, you know, so because of the fumble and scoop and score, so that's frustrating. But that's their fault because they had that 12-play drive. They shouldn't have had that. So I was frustrated because, and that had anything to do with, you know, give them credit. They moved the football. They're using the running quarterback, doing a lot of different things to try to create some creases. I just didn't think I thought we got ahead and we let up. And that's what I was trying to avoid. I just want to see guys battle and fight, compete, no matter what the scoreboard says, no matter who you're playing. I just thought we let up. And I know it's in human nature to do that in that situation, but I wanted to see our guys. So I was disappointed more in some body language and just our leadership. And so I challenged our leaders to make sure, hey, when that's happening, because what's going to happen in a different setting, we got to go up and make those stops. And so, and we did get the stop there. We got an interception on 4th down, which was big, and got off the field in that regard. So I thought the response was good. I thought the second half response was excellent. I think we gave up 20-some yards in the whole half. So just wanted to see us finish, and I thought we did defensively. So it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty dang good.
Jim right in front, then Mason.
Tom, talk about the offense as a whole. You had 9 guys catch a pass, but getting Josh Henderson and Jalen Lucas involved in the receiving game as well as the running game. How important was all that heading into the game with Louisville?
Very important. And the thing that for me, that's what I saw out of us. You know, I think I might have said this in one of my, you know, when I was talking this past week about, you know, our offense got after our defense a fair amount during fall camp, you know, and so it was back and forth without question. So I knew we had this opportunity to be able to say, and I understand, you know, we're playing a team that doesn't have the same level of talent, and so I understand that. But the execution was what I was encouraged by, and the reads and the amount of guys involved. And I think we have a deep team. I think we have a lot of receivers that can make plays, showed up tonight. We have a lot of running backs that make plays, show up tonight. I think we have a lot of guys, we have several tight ends that we play, that can help us and do different things. And so I feel like we got a couple quarterbacks that can play. And I think we played a lot of different linemen as well. We got 8 guys that I really believe that are ready to be in that 5 that we play with. And we can mix and match them, and things happen to guys, you can be able to rotate that. So I think it was what we needed to do, was to be able to be crisp and clean and sharp. And I think we punted a couple times, and just felt like that the execution was what we have to have, and we just got to build off of it. So obviously got a lot more work to do. Got a huge test and opportunity coming up here next weekend, but in order to be able to keep growing our offense, I thought tonight was important.
Mason, second row, and then Zion to finish up.
Tom, regarding the quarterbacks, do you feel now that each guy has the kind of comfort and reps that they are going to need to be able to be a starter, not just for week 3, but moving on? I
believe so. You know, when you count all the, you know, it would have been ideal to be able to just name one week 1, you know, and that would have come out of fall camp. I get that, but just trusted my gut on that one. Didn't feel like we had any distinction either way. Felt like we needed live gameplay to make the decision and to really make a fair assessment, you know, and you can still see it's still very close, you know, so, but once again, good issue to have. 2 really good quarterbacks that I believe can run our system, and we built it that way. And so just got to be able to, you know, whoever that guy is, I do think they've had enough reps. We have the numerical count of what we got during fall camp. We got a lot of reps, because those 2 guys pretty much did everything, and Dex was the one that kind of get a few in there as well once he got back. But other than that, those guys took a ton of reps during fall camp. So, and they got 2 games where they both played a lot of football, pretty balanced in regards to the numbers and everything. So just pleased with where we are. And obviously that was the goal, was to be able to come to this point, and then we got to, as a staff this weekend, make the decision.
Zion on your left, last one.
Coach, last week you voiced your displeasure with the penalties and sloppy plays. Why do you think those plays and those moments persisted today?
Yeah, we had 7 penalties. I think 6 of them were on special teams. You know, the 2 running into the kickers to me are just, it's ridiculous. You know, so that's very fixable. Now we didn't have blocking the backs and the holdings on the returns, which is huge. So it's kind of more just silly, I think, lack of focus mistakes. You know, we had the hit on the returner, and I didn't really necessarily agree with that, because there's no halo rule anymore, and he didn't fair catch it, and so sometimes it can be just catch it and wham, you know. So anyways, that was one. It was kind of, that's an act of aggression. The other ones to me are just stupid, okay? So if you run into a punter, it should never happen, okay? So we'll get him cleaned up. You know, obviously gave an earful to Coach T. I love him to death, but he knows. We're in this together. We've been in this a long time. He's been here ever since I've been here, so he's you know, cares as much about it as I do. So we're going to get those things cleaned up, because we got to be at our best here next weekend. Appreciate you guys. Have an awesome night, Elliot.